Juries don't like liars. Trials are about credibility.
Blake Lively, the once beloved Hollywood star, is now at the center of a scandal so shocking it could end her career. From allegations of bribing judges to manipulating the media, Blake's legal battle is unraveling in the most dramatic way possible. But how did it all go so wrong? And what does this mean for her future in Hollywood? Let's dive into the explosive details.
So I did. It's for sale in my Etsy store. I'll leave a link below if you're interested in the 1,000,000% t-shirt.
It all started when Blake Lively accused Justin Baldoni of misconduct, claiming she had undeniable proof of his wrongdoing. She painted herself as the victim, swearing that Baldoni had put her in an uncomfortable and traumatic situation during the filming of a dance scene. The media quickly picked up the story, and Blake's claims spread like wildfire, with headlines painting her as a brave whistleblower standing up against Hollywood's dark side. But as the case began to unfold, cracks started to appear in her story.
If they find that she just was dishonest and lied on one single point of evidence, in this case, in her testimony, the jury instruction says that they are allowed to discount her entire testimony.
The first major blow came when a leaked video surfaced, showing Blake not only participating in the scene but actually smiling and appearing completely at ease. This was the same scene she had described as horrifying and traumatic in her lawsuit. The footage directly contradicted her claims, and legal experts were quick to point out the glaring inconsistencies. If Blake was lying about this, what else was she hiding? Juries don't like liars, and trials are all about credibility, something Blake was quickly losing.
It seems insurmountable. It seems like this case cannot be settled.
As the video went viral, the public's perception of Blake began to shift. What initially seemed like a straightforward case of misconduct now looked like a desperate attempt to rewrite the narrative. Legal analysts weighed in, noting that if Blake was caught lying about even one detail, the jury could dismiss her entire testimony. This is a standard jury instruction in many cases. If a witness is found to be dishonest about one thing, their entire story can be called into question. For Blake, this was a devastating possibility. Her credibility, once her strongest asset, was now her biggest liability.
Her testimony won't even count. And that is that's a harsh reality, because if the jury chooses not to listen to anything she has to say, she's the best witness in this case.
But the drama didn't stop there. As more details emerged, it became clear that Blake's lawsuit was less about seeking justice and more about controlling the narrative. Her legal team filed an amended complaint, a staggering 180 pages long, filled with sensational claims and media-friendly language. Legal experts called it a PR stunt disguised as a lawsuit, and Judge Lyman didn't hold back, describing the case as a war between PR firms rather than a legitimate legal battle. Blake's strategy was backfiring, and her credibility was crumbling faster than she could rebuild it.
So her testimony is super important in this case, and if you can show the jury that she's lied, juries don't like liars. Trials are about credibility.
The leaked video wasn't just a minor hiccup, it was a turning point. It exposed the flaws in Blake's story and raised serious questions about her motives. Was she truly a victim, or was this all an elaborate attempt to salvage her reputation? As the case continued to unravel, one thing became clear. Blake Lively's credibility was on the line, and she was losing the battle.
Trials are about the truth, and juries want the truth, and if you lie to them, they will hold it against you.
Blake's lawsuit against Justin Baldoni is nothing short of a legal spectacle. Clocking in at a staggering 180 pages, it's filled with dramatic claims, sensational language, and what many are calling blatant media manipulation. Instead of presenting a clear, concise case, the document reads more like a Hollywood script, packed with exaggerated narratives and PR-friendly buzzwords. But here's the twist. Instead of strengthening her position, the lawsuit is being widely criticized as a desperate PR stunt designed to sway public opinion rather than win in court.
And that's why you think, like you mentioned before, that you think this video is the most damning evidence that Baldoni has so far.
I think so. And it's better than words.
Judge Lyman, who's presiding over the case, didn't mince words when he called the lawsuit a war between PR firms, rather than a legitimate legal battle. This scathing critique highlights the growing skepticism surrounding Blake's motives. Legal experts have pointed out that the sheer length and tone of the complaint are highly unusual for a case like this. Most lawsuits of this nature are concise, typically 20 to 25 pages, focusing on facts and evidence. Blake's 180-page tome, on the other hand, is riddled with fluff, speculation, and attempts to paint herself as the ultimate victim. It's a strategy that's backfiring spectacularly.
Number 2, the SH has nothing to do with taking over the movie, even though she doesn't deny that she took over the movie. Of course, it'd be probably impossible to do that.
The real danger for Blake lies in the courtroom. If the jury finds that she lied about even one piece of evidence, whether it's the details of the dance scene or her claims of misconduct, they have the power to dismiss her entire testimony. This is a standard jury instruction in many cases, and it's a harsh reality that could spell disaster for Blake's case. Legal analysts have warned that her credibility is already on thin ice, and one misstep could send her entire lawsuit crashing down.
Okay, so I was able to read the amended complaint, which, by the way, it's very abnormal. It's almost 180 pages, 400 and some odd paragraphs. Complaints are not normally that long, but this one has to be for public consumption.
What's even more telling is how Blake's team has handled the fallout. Instead of addressing the inconsistencies head-on, they've doubled down on their strategy, filing motions to suppress evidence and pushing for attorneys' eyes-only protection. These moves have only fueled speculation that Blake has something to hide. Judge Lyman has made it clear that the courts serve the public, not Hollywood elites, and he's not about to let Blake rewrite the rules to suit her narrative.
So it kind of makes them look like they're trying to take that video, now that it's out, and kind of spin it in a different direction.
In the end, Blake's lawsuit is less about justice and more about control. It's a high-stakes gamble to salvage her reputation, but with every new development, it's becoming clearer that the truth is slipping through her fingers. If the jury sees through the theatrics, Blake could face a humiliating defeat, one that not only damages her career, but also exposes the lengths she's willing to go to protect her image.
Blake Lively had changed some stuff up in her amended complaint. Now she is describing that dancing scene very differently than she did in her first complaint.
But the drama doesn't stop there. Just when it seemed like Blake's legal battle couldn't get any more explosive, sources close to the case dropped a bombshell. Blake's team allegedly tried to bribe the court to suppress damning evidence. A jaw-dropping $100 million figure has been tied to the scandal, leaving everyone wondering just how far Blake is willing to go to protect her reputation. This isn't just a legal battle anymore. It's a full-blown corruption scandal that could have far-reaching consequences for Blake and everyone involved.
Blake Lively made, and she lied in their minds about what occurred during that dancing scene because she wasn't aware that there was audio that would maybe explain and give some context to what was happening there. So of course she changes her in her amended complaint, she changes the view of it a little bit.
The allegations suggest that Blake's team pushed for an attorney's eyes only AEO protection order, which would have restricted access to certain key documents and messages to only the lawyers involved, not even Blake or Baldoni themselves. Legal experts say this move is highly unusual and is often used to hide explosive or incriminating information. But here's the kicker. Sources claim there were 100 million reasons why Blake's team was so desperate to keep this evidence under wraps. That specific figure has raised eyebrows, with many speculating that it points to a bribery attempt or some other form of financial manipulation to sway the case in Blake's favor.
Really what they did is they said, well, yes, all of that happened, but when Baldoni was in that scene dancing, he wasn't in character, and she was being forced to act as though she loved him, which is, in my mind, just acting.
Judge Lyman, however, wasn't having any of it. In a bold move, he rejected Blake's request, reminding her team that the courts serve the public, not Hollywood elite. He emphasized that there's a public interest in transparency, especially when it comes to high-profile cases involving allegations of misconduct and manipulation. By shutting down Blake's attempt to hide evidence, Judge Lyman sent a clear message. No one is above the law, not even A-list celebrities with deep pockets and powerful PR teams.
And so rather than saying that these horrible things happened, now they're saying, well, no, yeah, but she didn't want that, and he wasn't really in character, and it wasn't within the context of what it should have been. So they're trying to skew it kind of a different.
This latest development has only added fuel to the fire. If the allegations of bribery are true, it could mean serious legal consequences for Blake and her team. Bribing a court is a federal offense, and if proven, it could result in criminal charges, fines, and even jail time. But even if the bribery claims remain unproven, the mere suggestion of such corruption is enough to tarnish Blake's reputation irreparably. It's a stunning fall from grace for someone who was once seen as one of Hollywood's golden girls.
Number 4, the smear campaign designed by Baldoni's team was intended to derail the SH claims that Lively brought later in time, which seems a little odd to me.
What's even more shocking is the level of desperation this reveals. Blake's team is clearly scrambling to control the narrative, but their tactics are only making things worse. By trying to suppress evidence and allegedly bribing the court, they've turned what was already a messy legal battle into a full-blown scandal. And with Judge Lyman refusing to play along, Blake's options are running out, and it's not looking good for her.
Her bad press came in early August, and yet the complaint to the CRD didn't happen till December 20th.
This isn't just about a lawsuit anymore, it's about accountability. How far is too far when it comes to protecting your image? And what happens when the courts refuse to bend to the will of the rich and famous? Blake Lively's case is becoming a cautionary tale, and the world is watching to see how it all unfolds.
That's Blake Lively's PR firm begging to be let go of the case. I think actually they may have the worst messages of all.
As the legal battle heats up, Blake's PR team is in full damage control mode, but their efforts are falling flat. What started as a carefully crafted narrative to paint Blake as the victim is now unraveling at breakneck speed. Leaked HR complaints against Justin Baldoni, which Blake's team allegedly circulated to the media, were quickly dismissed as fabricated and unverifiable. Major outlets refused to run the story, citing a lack of credibility, and the move backfired spectacularly. Instead of bolstering Blake's case, it only made her look more desperate and manipulative.
If they find that she just was dishonest and lied on one single point of evidence in this case, in her testimony, the jury instruction says that they are allowed to discount her entire testimony, because jurors are very bright, especially collectively. When they're all together, they all come from varied backgrounds. They're the smartest people in the room collectively, and they generally get the right result.
Even Blake's own PR firm, Leslie Sloan PR, reportedly tried to distance itself from the case, a move that speaks volumes about how toxic this situation has become. When your own PR team, the people paid to clean up your mess, wants nothing to do with your scandal, you know you're in deep trouble. The firm's attempt to withdraw from the case was seen as a clear sign that Blake's strategy was backfiring, and her reputation was becoming too tarnished to salvage.
Yeah, and you better hope that these HR complaints are genuine and credible. There's some credibility to them, because if we do learn that these were brought about by Blake Lively and her team, it's just going to compound already all the other bad facts that they're dealing with.
I think they probably won't listen to any experts or advisors or lawyers at this point. It doesn't sound like this because they make so many mistakes and bad decisions.
The media, which initially jumped on Blake's side, is now turning against her. Outlets that once ran sympathetic headlines are now questioning her motives and exposing the inconsistencies in her story. The leaked video of her smiling during the allegedly traumatic dance scene has become a focal point, with commentators and legal analysts dissecting every frame. The narrative has shifted from Blake the victim to Blake the manipulator, and the public is starting to see through the carefully constructed facade.
And it's only to try to take back the narrative that Baldoni's team has done a very good job of, and perhaps the reason they've done such a good job, the Baldoni's team, is because they have more truth on their side than perhaps Blake Lively does.
Or you could get into it and just get completely obliterated, because lawsuits are not pleasant. But it sounds like you have grounds to file a lawsuit.
With every move, Blake's desperation becomes more apparent. Her team's attempts to suppress evidence, bribe the court, and manipulate the media have only made her look guiltier. The more she tries to control the narrative, the more it slips through her fingers. Her reputation, once built on charm and relatability, is now taking hit after hit. Social media is ablaze with criticism, and even her most loyal fans are starting to question her integrity.
It really is an impactful and powerful piece of evidence that's going to go against Lively, and that's why her deposition is not going to be pretty.
There were two new women who were willing to testify against Baldoni that they have been allegedly felt uncomfortable on set, but they didn't name them. But now it's already kind of leaked who they are.
What's worse is that Blake's actions are overshadowing her career. Instead of being known for her roles in films and her fashion sense, she's now becoming synonymous with scandal and manipulation. The longer this legal battle drags on, the more damage it does to her brand. And with the media turning against her and her own PR team stepping back, Blake is running out of allies.
And so it's not just a lawsuit, it's a PR campaign. The fact that they didn't include the names, in my mind when I was reading it, made it felt like it wasn't real or it wasn't very credible.
Leaked HR complaints that was circulated around last week, and a lot of people commented on them. They were not picked up by the press because they looked quite suspicious.
This isn't just a legal battle anymore, it's a PR nightmare. Blake's team is fighting a losing battle to control the narrative, and every misstep is costing her dearly. The question now is, can she recover from this, or is this the beginning of the end for Blake Lively's career? One thing's for sure, her reputation will never be the same.
This is insane. What are you talking about? She genuinely is not aware of how insane she sounds.
Right now, both sides are under strict orders to kill each other, and that's what's happening. Both sides are trying to kill each other, and right now Baldoni's team is winning hands down. Public opinion is completely behind him.
The fallout from this scandal is nothing short of devastating. Blake Lively, once celebrated for her charm, talent, and relatable persona, now finds her career overshadowed by allegations of corruption, manipulation, and outright deceit. What was supposed to be a straightforward legal battle has spiraled into a full-blown crisis, threatening to erase years of goodwill and success. Her carefully curated image as Hollywood's sweetheart is crumbling, replaced by a narrative of desperation and scandal.
While Team Blake Lively may think they have the upper hand, sources say she has no idea what's coming regarding her battle with Justin Baldoni.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, they need to listen to their lawyers, and they need to resolve this case if possible.
Even her husband, Ryan Reynolds, known for his quick wit and likable public persona, is rumored to be deeply involved behind the scenes. Sources suggest that Reynolds has been pulling strings to protect their shared image, leveraging his industry connections and PR expertise to mitigate the damage. But even his efforts seem to be falling short. The couple, often seen as one of Hollywood's golden pairs, is now facing a crisis that no amount of charm or star power can easily fix. The truth is coming to light, and it's becoming increasingly clear that Blake's days of playing the victim are over.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have hired former CIA agents with a proven track record of lying to the public, gaslighting the public. You're basically saying you're a liar. You misrepresent who you are in the court of public opinion. They've lost.
The stakes couldn't be higher. If Blake's legal team can't turn things around, she could be forced to settle the case before her deposition, a move that would likely come with a hefty financial cost and an implicit admission of guilt. Settling would allow her to avoid the humiliation of a public trial, but it would also leave a permanent stain on her reputation. On the other hand, if the case goes to trial, the risks are even greater. A humiliating loss in court could not only result in significant financial penalties, but also destroy what's left of her career. The jury's potential dismissal of her testimony, combined with the mountain of evidence against her, makes a trial loss a very real possibility.
Because not only could it be not good for the legal case, it's going to be an absolute nightmare for the PR side. And so I think the sooner that they can kind of figure out a path out of this, the better.
There's a lot of comments that she puts in here that you're just like, why would you want to take over someone's movie? The outfits in this end are so out of touch. No, we don't want to watch bullies like Blake.
But the damage extends far beyond the courtroom. Blake's brand partnerships, which have been a significant part of her career, are now in jeopardy. Companies that once clamored to work with her are likely reevaluating their ties, wary of being associated with such a high-profile scandal. Her future projects in Hollywood are also at risk, as studios may hesitate to cast someone with such a tarnished reputation. In an industry that thrives on image and public perception, Blake's missteps could cost her everything.
That's insane and that's crazy. And this is a reason why I think in the future people are just not going to work with her, because it's starting to add up. People are realizing that this is a pathology. I mean, it is weird how dumb they think the public is. Like, what do you mean? Why on earth would you be allowed to see every single message that someone has sent for 2.5 years predating?
The question now is, what's next for Blake Lively? Will she cut her losses and settle, hoping to salvage what's left of her career? Or will she gamble everything on a trial, risking a public humiliation that could end her time in the spotlight for good? One thing is certain, this scandal has changed the trajectory of her career forever. The Blake Lively we once knew may be gone, replaced by a cautionary tale of how quickly fame and fortune can unravel when the truth comes to light.
They're PR agents. What are you talking about? You're just looking for stuff so you can embarrass them, so you can know things about them. I would never in a million years be like, yeah, you can subpoena every single text message that I have with my sisters and my friends.
There's depositions, and she would have a videotape deposition, and we think that that would be horrible for her to actually appear for a videotape deposition in this case, meaning she has to hopefully resolve this case before then.
Blake Lively's scandal is more than just a headline. It's a cautionary tale of how quickly fame and fortune can crumble when the truth comes to light. From allegations of bribing judges to manipulating the media, Blake's actions have exposed the dark underbelly of Hollywood, where power and privilege often overshadow integrity. Her fall from grace has been swift and brutal, leaving fans and critics alike questioning whether she can ever recover. But here's the real question. Is this the end of Blake Lively's career, or can she find a way to bounce back from this disaster? Hollywood has a history of forgiving its stars, but Blake's case is different. This isn't just a personal misstep or a tabloid scandal. It's a full-blown legal and ethical crisis that has shattered her credibility. Can she rebuild trust with the public, or will this scandal define her legacy forever? Some might argue that Blake still has a chance. With the right PR strategy, a sincere apology, and a step back from the spotlight, she could potentially rebuild her image over time. But others believe the damage is too deep. The allegations of bribery, manipulation, and dishonesty have left a stain that even the most skilled PR team might not be able to erase. And with the media and public opinion turning against her, the road to redemption will be anything but easy. What do you think? Can Blake Lively make a comeback? Or is this the final chapter in her Hollywood story? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this unfolding drama. Because one thing's for sure, this story is far from over.